Hey y'all, it's Unwellness Wednesday today because there has not been a whole lot of wellness had in the past few days. First things first, let me show you where I am. This, in all of that haze, oh, I think I can get it. It's hard back here. That's Mount Aetna, which is an active volcano site. Wicked cool. Second things, I have been slapped by the sun on that volcano. My husband and I, we went to hike Mount Aetna, and I don't know if my lighting is going to be great right here. Can we see myself? So we went and we hiked Mount Aetna, and we got real high up. I think the elevation was 9,600 feet, and it was hot to me. There were wind jackets involved, and I couldn't with it. It was so hot for me. I do tend to run a little bit warm-natured, and that doesn't help. But my entire shoulder situation, chest, it doesn't look so bad here in the lack of light, but in full sun, I was like slapped hard. And it was windy up there, so my husband said, maybe you were also like wind slapped. Anyway, I fully embraced the experience, got loads of blisters on the backs of my heels, and we got to go tromping through like volcanic rock. It was neat. It was hard. It was very, very hard, but it was neat. And one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about today, actually the main thing I want to talk about today, is embracing the experience. We were in Ireland first, and we ate pretty well overall, pretty friendly to a low carb lifestyle, not full-blown ketogenic, but pretty well for a low carb way of life. It wasn't terribly difficult. There were some looks when you would ask for eggs royale without the English muffin, or you would decline the toast, or, there are millions of shops around there, and they all have baked goods and sweets and desserts every which way you turn. I was pretty awesome at resisting everything until we got to the last couple days, and we ordered some fries to go alongside a charcuterie board because we were just like craving salt. You know what? That's something else I remember. I brought my Redmond real salt, little tiny shakers. I should have brought those out here to show you. And we've gone through some salt, but we had left that in our bag, and we're down getting food, and we felt like we needed salt. And I kind of justified having fries because they are, you remember the whole phase of resistant starch that sort of came about as a cycle through the eating world, the diet culture, if you will, where if you cooked, cooled, and then consumed potatoes, they were supposed to have resistant starch. So I just kind of based my consumption of a few fries off that ideology. It sounds like a ridiculous way to excuse yourself from eating fries, or excuse yourself while eating fries. I don't know. Anyway, so that kind of sent us a little bit on a spiral, and there were lots of things that I decided to not omit. Like on charcuterie, we would have things like a chutney, which is a sweet kind of compote, or jams that really added to the flavor profile of the meats and cheeses. There was one that we did here in Sicily that was more of like an eggplant, tomato, herb, and oil kind of a compote, which was tremendous, amazing. So I loved that, and it wasn't sweet. And that's something else I've noticed is here in Sicily, charcuterie doesn't have a sweet element to it the way that the rest, I guess it's antipasti here. The way that we imagine charcuterie boards on the US side of the pond. Anyway, all of that to say, there's been plenty of good food had. There have been lots of meals that have been low carb friendly. There have been a few meals that have not been. I was really actually quite worried that being here in Sicily meant that I was going to basically fast, because pasta is not one of those things that gets me excited to wake up in the morning. It really isn't. However, we've been able to find, like, usually pasta is a first course and then you have a second course or a main course. And so I've been able to order main courses where they don't have so much pasta. In fact, I don't know that I've seen a menu that has pasta as a main course since we've been here. I'll have to keep an eye out. We are still here for a few more days, and I'm going to continue to make best choices. Places like the hotel breakfast, we have been able to really manage eating the way we want to eat well, and that's great. It usually happens towards the afternoon when, you know, you're getting closer to dinner time and you're like, I think that piece of bread looks really delicious. And I wind up eating like maybe a slice of some Italian bread, but it's easier to hold off on those things when you know that you are in control of your own choices and you're fully embracing the experience. And to the experience embracing aspect, we have gone on and explored lots of different areas, done lots of like walking and hiking through lots of different places. We were on the Cliffs of Moher. Is it Cliffs of Moher, Cliffs of Moher, or some other variation? I don't know. The Irish all seemed to be a little bit at odds as to how you pronounce that. You know, so we hiked up and down through that, and it was that wasn't a terrible hike. It was really more of a walk. But hiking up Mount Aetna back there, that was intense. Especially when I wasn't anticipating us going that far. We got to the base and we thought we were just gonna take a cable car ride up and come, you know, go wander around a little while and then come back down. Well, then there was the opportunity to go and hike for about I think we were there for probably 4.5 hours, hiking around and up and down, or not down into the craters, but you know, all the way back down. We got to go walk the rim of some of the crater, and it was really cool, and it was a lot more work than I expected at that moment. Like, if I would have mentally prepared for it, it probably would have been better. But we've also walked around towns, like walking around Dublin was a ton of walking around Sicily, or here in Taormina, it was a lot of work, and my fingers start to swell, and I know that I'm retaining water because I'm not as focused on drinking as much water. I'm trying, but for the most part, it's more of a, like, I'm in the moment, I'm an immersive experience, like, situation. I'm going to fully immerse and fully experience, and it's been quite fun. But I also know that when we get home, I am going to need to really, A, buckle down and reset. B, I'm going to need to really intentionally think about how foods are impacting my blood sugar and my ketones. And 3, I am going to need to drop this water weight. That is something for sure I'm going to want to do, because I don't appreciate how stiff my joints feel. And I know my skin, even though it just looks sun-slapped and the lighting is not great right here, I have had a few breakouts from having things like that sweet chutney on a charcuterie, or just like having a bread here and there. And I don't really eat a lot of bread in general, but you know, whenever you have a piece or two, you know, 4 or 5 days, that tends to add up in my skin. And my skin is one of those things where I notice it first. So anyway, Unwellness Wednesday here, and that's what I got for you. If you're new here, I appreciate you listening to me ramble about those unwellness things. And I would love for you to poke around the channel, see if there's anything that you are interested in, and consider subscribing. For my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back, and I look forward to seeing y'all's comments down below. I also look forward to seeing you in my next video.